this is how you know that this turned out amazing. Hey everyone, welcome back. It's been a while, but I'm back here with another video, and I am super excited because this is one of my most favorite things to make ever. And it's super easy. Actually, the most difficult part of this dish is to find the proper way to cut the pork ribs. So I'm making Shanghai style sweet and sour pork ribs. And what you really want are pork ribs that are cut into smaller strips like this, and we're going to be chopping them up into little pieces that are easy to stir fry and eat. And yeah, if you can't find this you won't find this at your normal grocery stores. Probably you'll have to go to like an Asian store to have it like this. Otherwise, go to your local butcher, see if they'll get you cuts like this or if they have it like this. But we're gonna go ahead and get these sort of marinated and prepped. And our ingredients are fairly simple here. We just have some ginger, some scallions. We have light soy sauce, dark soy sauce, vinegar, rock sugar, cooking wine, and some toasted sesame seeds. And I will put the specific amounts of the recipe down in the description below. So let's just get started here and cut up our pork ribs. So what we want to do with the pork ribs is we want to cut them into little sections like this. So cut between the bones, and once we find the bone, what we're doing is just cutting them into little sections like this. Looks like that. Our pork ribs are all cut up and ready to go, so let's just start marinating them. I'm going to take a little bit of soy sauce, light soy sauce. Go ahead and pour that in. A little bit of cooking wine. We're not going to use all of it. Save a little bit for later here. And just let this marinate for about 10-15 minutes is probably enough. If you want to marinate it a little bit longer, 30 minutes, couldn't hurt for sure. And we'll just go ahead and get that coated. Let that sit off to the side, and we'll prepare the rest of the ingredients here. So the ginger and the onions, we'll just take the white parts of your scallions. We'll save the green parts for later, and we'll just cut these up into half-inch sections works. The ginger, just a couple blocks like that is good enough, and we are ready to go. All right, first step, we're gonna just make some oil fragrant. And to do that, we are going to be stir frying our ginger and scallions. So about a tablespoon of oil into the wok here, let it heat up, get it nice and hot. And as soon as it is hot, we can go ahead and stir fry these real quick. And this won't take long, we're just gonna get them fragrant. Don't let them burn. And once they're ready, we're gonna put them off to the side. So we took out our ginger scallions, our oil is nice and fragrant. We're gonna go ahead and start frying up these pork ribs a little bit. They've been marinated for a while. We're gonna add a little bit more oil back into the pan here because there's quite a bit of pork here. This is about 2 pounds. So let's go ahead, let's get that going. And what you wanna do is just let this kind of crisp up and brown on the outside a little bit. All right, this is almost ready. Look at this browning here. We want it to look kind of like this on all the sides and edges of our pork ribs. You really want that Maillard reaction because that's going to bring the flavor to the pork ribs. So once we get to that point, we can turn our heat down a little bit. We're going to add our sugar. Now, if you don't have rock sugar, that's okay. You can just use regular sugar. That's fine. Rock sugar is just going to add a little bit more of a glazy look, a little bit more reflective in the final product. Looks a little bit nicer. The taste, I think, in my opinion, is slightly... just has a slightly better flavor than regular sugar, but regular sugar is just fine too. We're gonna go ahead and just let the sugar melt, and this is where you want to be careful. You don't want to let it sit. You can't let the sugar burn. We don't want it to ruin a batch of pork ribs here. So let's move this around, let that sugar melt. We're gonna coat the pork ribs in that melted sugar, and then we are gonna finally let that put in our sauce and let it simmer. Most of our sugar is pretty much melted. Look at this. This is already looking amazing and it smells awesome. I actually want to start eating this right now, but we're not done. The pork ribs need to cook for a while so that they become tender. And this is the point where we can go ahead and add our soy sauce and vinegar mixture right here. This is the dark soy sauce and Chinese vinegar. We'll add the rest of our cooking wine. Throw in those scallions and ginger that we had fried up earlier. Give that a good mix, and then we want to cover this with water. So what you want to do is put in enough water so that most of the ribs are basically simmered. So I'm going to need a little bit more water here. Once you get that, bring it to a boil. put a cover on it and let that simmer for about 30 to 40 minutes, and then we'll move on to the next step and reduce that sauce. All right, it's been about 35 minutes here, and we're gonna take a look at that. Look at this color, that is looking great. So what you wanna do at this point is we were simmering on low heat. Now we can let this, let the sauce reduce, and it's gonna create a really nice caramelized sauce. So turn this up and reduce. It takes probably about 10-15 minutes or so. We'll come back and take a look at what that looks like. So keep things moving. You want to watch it at this stage because you do not want to let it burn. There's a lot of sugars in the sauce, so if you just let it sit and you forget about it, that sugar is going to burn and your entire batch is ruined. We are almost done here, and this is the critical point. So come take a look at this. Look at how the color has deepened to this nice red color, and this is where you really want to be careful. We don't want that to burn, like I said before. So we're just going to kind of keep it moving. You can turn that heat down a little bit, down to like a medium high, if you want to be just a little bit more careful about letting those sugars burn. And as soon as you start seeing most of this water go away, it is time. And then also, if you wanted to have a little bit of sauce left over, that's fine too. The sauce is amazing. I love having it over rice, but you can kind of really see this nice reflective glaze on these pork ribs. That means it is almost ready. And be careful too, because there's a lot of oil in this, and so don't mistake the oil for water. Just because there's liquid in here doesn't mean that it hasn't fully reduced. So we probably only got about, I'd say, a minute or so left on this before it is ready. We are pretty much done here. Take a look at this. That is good, and so we are ready to put that in our bowl here and finish off. Great. It's just beautiful and it smells amazing. So let's finish this off with a little bit of our green onions that we cut off earlier, and then that toasted sesame seeds. So you can go ahead and roll the top on that a little bit. This is black. Sometimes you can get white toasted sesame seed as well. Either works. Now, classically, this dish is actually served at room temperature. It actually tastes amazing at room temperature. I actually highly recommend that, but you can have this hot. Some people don't like that weird room temperature sort of food feeling. So go ahead and enjoy this hot as well. That's delicious. Put it over some rice, but otherwise let it sit for about 30 minutes and enjoy. I want you to take a look at this gloss right here. This is how you know that this turned out amazing. Just look at that. I can see my reflection in this thing. It's gonna be amazing. Hope you guys enjoy. Don't forget to like and subscribe.